Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 things I think you should know about this very, very powerful and pivotal upcoming full moon on October 24th, 2018. There's actually 2 main themes that come to mind as I tune into it. Number 1, I wrote down stepping from the shadows, implying you finally stepping out of your own shadows, my own darkness, the distortions and conditioning of my character that obscures my authentic and full expression is becoming more separated. It's important for the light workers of the world to step out of the character and shine in the way they are capable of. And leading up to this full moon, and especially on the full moon, that's the main theme. You're going to be getting what you need to help you do just that. But it's not just you. That's not the only theme. Just as you are going through these major shifts in your own life, in your own spiritual growth and personal journey, so too is the collective, the world. And there are times where there are what I call waves of awakening. New people. You probably remember what it was like to discover there's more to yourself, your body, reality. You start looking into all the different things going on beneath the scenes, and it's this mind expanding awakening. Well, a lot of people will go through that at one time during these waves of awakening. How do I know? Well, Victor knows because I talk about awakening on my YouTube channel, and I notice very obvious trends of people who are brand new, doctors, lawyers, people that are maybe characteristically would label themselves as unspiritual, reaching out saying, Victor, I saw your videos. I think they're a bit wacky, and yet I resonate with it. I'm actually going through what you're talking about, and I notice these trends. So that's theme number 2, is big waves of awakening, which is extremely exciting. Whenever this happens, it always makes me feel very hopeful for the future, because I know if these waves of awakening keep happening and more people get on this spiritual path that leads them to more of their self, it's going to make for a better world for all of us. But those of you like you who have been on this path a while, you'll notice a newer expression, a fuller expression of yourself as well. So as I always do, I break up the video into 5 different themes to bring some clarity and groundedness to this abstract sort of message so far. Before I do that, let me just say, if you're new to my YouTube channel, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here, and it's a blessing to have such an awesome, conscious audience to communicate with. As a gift for you, I have a free guided MP3 meditation that I made myself with one underlying motive. It's to help wake you up to the fact that you can heal yourself, you can heal your body, energy blockages, emotional traumas with nothing more than your own intent. It's a guided meditation, but it's to help you realize you don't even need a guided meditation. I made it myself. It's totally free. Check it out in the description box at the top down below. And with that said, I'll get into the video now. Number 1, triggered to grow, triggered to expand, triggered to blossom. It's not fun to get triggered. I'm trying to doctor it up for you a little bit. What I mean by that is that you will be a magnet during this time for anything you need, any personality, any person, character, experience, circumstance, situation that will trigger up and out those shadowy aspects of your deep unconsciousness. The way this can play out, and I'll give you an example. Just the other day, I was at the AT&T store getting a new iPhone, and the person who was helping me was kind of like what you would label as like a bully, kind of someone who's always on the lookout to make people feel inferior. And this, even though he's like this young kid, I didn't know him, he triggered me. Just his energy reminded me of some of the people I went to high school with. And for a time, I felt as if I was that same insecure guy in high school. And it was just a surge of these anxiety and insecurity emotions that were obviously caused by this mean, negative sort of person. That's what I mean by triggering. But what I invite you to do is what I didn't have learned to do, is benefit from it. That person did me a favor. I shouldn't go off and try to avoid those people. You can't anyway. If I would have ran away and shielded myself, I would have attracted the exact same a similar experience necessary to produce that same emotional purge, which is essentially what happened. That negative person helped me by making me consciously aware of unresolved emotional issues I was harboring. So you might have that happen. Negative people, family members, pressing your buttons. Let them press your buttons. Learn from them. Allow yourself to release the emotion that that blessed person triggered up in you, and that will allow you to grow and expand. And if you could have a positive, optimistic, I'm going to benefit type of outlook, then you don't have to go around avoiding these triggers. You can see them for what they are, which are blessings. They are manifestations that you have aligned yourself with to help you grow and expand, because now is the time that you need to be growing and expanding. Number 2 is kind of a weird one. I wrote down soul memory activation. It's interesting to ponder the fact that you are this incredibly complex, old, multi-dimensional, multifaceted, eternal soul. But we don't really know that, do we? All I know myself is as Victor, the guy who's been here for about 30 years or so, and I've had these experiences. I have a sense there's more to me. And we're living in the age of awakening, where you're going to start to remember there is more to you. And just as you are a magnet for the triggers, you'll be a magnet for anything you need to make you consciously aware of aspects of your consciousness, of your soul's lineage, you could say, that are relevant for you in this lifetime. A lot of people will start to find the right people or seminars or books or whatever that help them remember the fact that they're connected to the stars, to the ETs, or the elemental sort of realms. Or you just an extremely old soul that maybe you've been all the way back to Atlantean times. And all of these things, all of these like other aspects of the truth of who we are will start to, almost like there are fragments and we forget, but you're going to start collecting these little gems, these little memories of who you are. Because who you have been, or who you are simultaneously, depending on how you want to look at it, can help you be more of who you came to be now. Now, I'll give you an example. That might have sounded kind of like, so what's going to happen after all that? I think I don't know what you're talking about. So, me and my boy Aaron Dowd, you might see him back there in the corner typing away. We were at the top of Bell Rock, our favorite place in Sedona. We're in Sedona right now, by the way. And we are doing a live Instagram Q&A. By the way, though I don't do those very often, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, just check it out, at Victor Oddo. And I do have kind of a different expression of myself there. Anyways, I digress. We are doing a live Q&A for our Instagrams, and we were kind of in like a remote, like a tucked away area where there weren't many people. And once we got done, some young gal down below was like, "Hey!" She kind of called up to us because she could hear what we were talking about. And she walked up and we started talking a little bit. And this person was a vocal channeler, just similar to Abraham Hicks or Bashar, if you guys know them, where they pretty much go unconscious almost, and this other entity comes through. And anyway, this person had a very interesting energy that I recognize. I could just almost like tell that whomever she channels, I have some kind of like connections to. And I walked away, I was like, Aaron, dude, I don't know what it was about that person, but they really just like, it's hard to describe. Just like, I know that person, I know that energy, it's so familiar, and it makes you start wondering like, who am I? Where did I come from? And you start putting those intentions out there, and it's like, it's helping me expand into more of who I am. Just a random, synchronous sort of a person crossing paths with me. So you might have that happen. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a book, maybe it's a YouTube video that pops up that triggers something in you relevant to your origin that will be purposeful for who you are now. So you can be more of that. So you can draw from these soul connections that will benefit you and others, especially others, in this lifetime. Number 3, waves of awakening. Not just you, not just me, the world. It's very important, what I've learned, to be a good role model. Because I know what it was like. I know how I was when I first started my awakening. I was a bit obnoxious, incredibly ungrounded, very just unnecessarily passionate about everything. I tried to tell everybody. And now I look at people like that and I have the tendency to get a little annoyed. Like, oh my goodness, just they needed to chill out a little bit. But I do my best not to. I do my best to have patience for like the newly awakened. Even more so, I do my best to have patience for people who are not awake. A lot of people wake up a little bit and then they start to get really frustrated and indignant and sort of like separate themselves from others who it's not yet relevant for them to wake up. But it's the best thing that any of us can do during these waves of awakening is be a good person. It doesn't require anything. It doesn't require any dispelling of information, any warnings of what to come, any piece of advice. It's more like, how can I be loving, compassionate, empathetic, empowered, grounded, and content in my own life? And that radiates a frequency that people will benefit from more than anything you could say to them. That's just a word to the wise, something I've learned over the years. I didn't have a lot to say about this beyond the fact that you might notice this. You might notice people in your life that you would have never thought would show any interest in the spiritual dimension of any kind, whether it be books or literature or topics, and you might start to see people opening up more than you'd expect. And to me, that's incredibly hopeful, because I know that person might just be starting to bloom a little bit, but over the years they're really going to become a blossoming example themselves. And the more people to wake up, it's like this massive ripple effect. So it makes me feel very good when I see and notice these waves of awakening. Number 4, because it's so important for the light workers who are awake now to be good shining examples, to be the best they can be, you'll notice there is outside support. You might find yourself running into the right people that have the right message, the right energy to give you exactly what you need based on where you're going next in your life. It might be a book that falls into your lap that you hear on a video or something that you resonate with and decide to go buy, and it's just exactly what you need to hear, and it's just so perfect and fitting. When you start to follow your path, you'll be, again, a magnet for all the different support you need. Beyond just the triggers, I'm talking people who come into your life at the right time, the right day, the right moment to tell you exactly what you need for that next step. And that builds faith. That builds a confidence that you really do get what you need when you actually need it. It's very nice to have that validation. For me, I've been running into a lot of interesting people here in Sedona this most recent time. My friend Aaron and I just met up with Melanie Beckler, who's also a really awesome channeler from the Ask Angels YouTube channel. You can check her out. We met up with her and her husband Miles, and we just had a great time, and we just shared a lot of information. In a little bit, we're going to meet up with another one, Bridget Nielsen, also an awesome YouTuber. She's out there doing her thing. So anyways, in the past, for a long time, I was sort of in the shadows more, and though I was really wanting to meet other people, other like-minded people, it wasn't happening. But just like there are waves of awakening, there are waves of connection. It's becoming more important for the light workers to kind of band together. So don't be surprised if you run into someone that you can recognize just by the look in their eye, and that is so awesome. I'll never forget the first time that happened to me. I was in South Florida going through my awakening. I was very early on, felt very alone, very ungrounded, very symptomatic. And it was on 11/11, actually, 11/11, the year 2011. And I felt synchronistically guided to go into this one psychic shop. It just caught my eye as we were driving, and I was like, honey, turn around. And I turned around, and when I went in there, it was like all light workers there working. How do you know? What's a light worker? I don't care about those labels. I'm talking about I could look in these people's eyes, and I could easily tell they were experiencing what I was experiencing, and I wasn't alone. And even though I didn't we didn't become friends or anything, it was so impactful that someone else was sharing my experience, and then I really wasn't alone. I intuitively sensed I wasn't, but now I knew. And that was impactful to me in a positive way on many levels. Lastly, breaking out of the character you've been playing and have learned to think you are. Breaking out so you can become the person you came to be. I know almost everybody watching this has this unshakable knowing that this time on earth is highly charged, highly transformative, extremely unique, and more so that you know on some level you came to participate, not just to watch. You have a role here. And as these energies ramp up, and there are these other waves of awakening souls stepping into their own, it's becoming more and more important for those of you pioneers to really remember who you are, to finally shake away the conditioning, this temporary jacket, this cloak we've been wearing, and be who you came to be. Whether that's someone who lives alone and paints because they love it and it emits a frequency, or someone to get onto YouTube, or to step on stage, or to write that book, or to just be a guiding light for their family and their friends and their coworkers and the passersby at the store. It's time for you to turn on and activate yourself. It's becoming just so important that you remember your role here. And that's okay. It's not no urgency. It means you'll start to become again a magnet for anything it is you need, whether it be a person triggering you, or a person coming and reminding you that you may come from the stars, or a book, or you stub your toe and you go to the doctor and then you meet your soulmate. It doesn't matter. You're going to be manifesting everything you need effortlessly to help you become the person you came to be. And if you can see the world, see your life's unfoldment with that as a premise, then it's all a blessing. All is an extension of you that just continually enriching you and fueling you and building you, expanding you, helping you blossom. The good, the bad, and everything in between is there for you. You put it there. You are a magnet. You attracted it to you for your and the whole's best good. But I say all that because right now, as you watch this video, you might be doing a lot of attracting of those kind of things. And it might not be fun. It's not always fun. As I shared before, that circumstance in the AT&T store wasn't fun. It was not fun to feel and relive those old emotions that I thought were gone. No, it's not fun to be in an uncomfortable situation. But when the full moon peaks, you will feel different. It's when we start to finally step out of the shadows. But it might be a little more shadowy than usual leading up to that point. But that's because there'll be that massive contrast of stepping into the light, your light. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. We're gonna thank my friend Aaron here for letting me use his badass camera. It's nice, and just feeling good vibes in Sedona. I'm looking out at the Red Rocks right now. And I hope you guys can feel it too. I'm very excited about this month in particular. It's a very, very powerful month. Most months are pretty powerful, I admit. This one is in particular powerful though, because of the mass awakenings going on and you really stepping into your own. It's a very beautiful time, and it leaves me filled with a lot of hope for the future, especially this new year and coming into the new year. And there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon. I hope you're excited. You might not be feeling excited, but I think on some intuitive level, you know good things are on the horizon. So I invite you to tap into that and dwell there. And I'm gonna bounce. Me and Aaron gotta get on a hike here soon. You guys have an amazing day, a beautiful week, and I'll be in touch very soon. Thank you for all of your love and your support and your work, your effort, which is not always easy. Thank you. Be in touch. Peace.